Whenever people talk about great modern animated shows, I'm sure you know what'll come up. Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Gravity Falls, Transformers Prime, My Little Pony, these examples come up very often. However, there's one show I'd want to add to that pile, Ninjago.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Ninjago? You mean that toy line with a mediocre movie, right?
Well, that movie exists for a reason, because the show that came before it is awesome. A long-running series still going on to this day about a team of ninja using their elemental powers and machines to save the world in Ninjago from a rotating rogues gallery of villains. The premise seems simple, but a lot is going on inside once one gives it a chance. Compelling characters, entertaining writing, strong arcs, and it deals with subject matter that's pretty uncommon for a show one would think exists solely to sell toys. Mortality, cults, emotional trauma, a surprising amount of tension. There's a reason a show like this has garnered such a strong following over the years.
There's so many good seasons that I could dedicate a video to every single one, but we're gonna do something a little different.
I want to cover one of the series' biggest mistakes. Not because I hate Ninjago, nah, I love it, but rather it puts things into perspective about how special Ninjago really is. You'll see what I mean. Let's cover Ninjago, Day of the Departed. For a bit of backstory, Day of the Departed is a 45-minute TV special made soon after the end of Season 6, Skybound, and I was hyped! A TV special that has almost all the villains from Ninjago's past, and it focuses on the mysterious Sensei Yang from Season 5? Whoa, and it's the first big Ninjago product to focus on Cole, the most overlooked of the ninja? Heck yeah, sign me up! Kirby Morrow, my man, we're doing your character justice! And then, it came out, and I watched the premiere. Let's just cut to it. One thing to point out is that this special is written by David Shane. This is worth pointing out as this typically isn't the writer of the show. The previous 6 seasons were done by the Hageman brothers, who helped write the Lego Movie, Hotel Transylvania, and Troll Hunters, which are all good. Chances are they couldn't sign on due to working on Troll Hunters at the time, so Shane had to cover for them to make the special, as well as the season that succeeded it, Hands of Time. Now, this season does foreshadow elements that would be relevant to Hands of Time, but I'm judging it by its connection to the past 6 seasons as that's what truly matters here. So the story begins with the ninja, Kai, Nia, Lloyd, Jay, Zane, and Cole rushing to Ninjago City on an important mission. Luckily, they make it in time with their new vehicles that, combined, make the Ultra Stealth Raider, the new version of Season 1's Ultrasonic Raider.
So, how did they get it? I don't know. Beats me.
Alright, let's not beat around the bush here. Ninjago is made in the end to sell toys. However, typically there's a suitable explanation as to why and how the ninja get these vehicles and even how they lose it if the product needs to be phased out. It's not at all like G1 Transformers where Autobots would appear and disappear for no reason other than to remind you that a new toy's out. Here it's inconsistent with how Ninjago expertly approaches things, which is a shame. Meanwhile, Cole, the Earth Ninja, is suddenly drifting off, starting to disappear due to the amount of time he spent as a ghost. In Season 5, the ninja tried to get the Scroll of Air Jitsu, a way to learn a special martial art with the ability to fly. However, they need to take it from its evil undead creator, Master Yang. The ninja made it out fine, except for Cole, who was cursed to be a ghost. However, that whole disappearing thing is not dwelled on as much as it's rushed through as the ninja arrive at Ninjago City Museum. The situation seems dire. They spin into action too! Go to the gift shop. Yeah, pretty low-ball joke there, guys. Turns out the ninja needed to get lanterns to celebrate Day of the Departed. As Master Wu explains,
we light lanterns to remember our ancestors and to settle our debts.
So, the Day of the Departed is basically the Ninjago world equivalent to the Day of the Dead. But is there a point to even merge it with Halloween?
Look, there's candy, costumes, none of this is really honoring the dead in any way. I understand that this special aired during Halloween, but there's really little significance to the Halloween homages aside from the whole ghost motif. It only just dates the special further, especially compared to Season 5. That was all about ghosts, and that aired in the fall, but can be considered a timeless line of episodes. Eventually, a brand new character shows up. This is Borat. I mean Dr. Saunders. I mean Borat. He's here for exposition and nothing else.
You must call me by my first name, yes? Sander, yes?
Well, he's also one of the main villains of the next season, but shh, you don't know that yet.
Borat reveals that he made an exhibit to celebrate all the villains the ninja have faced over the years. I'm not gonna argue the logistics about making an exhibit devoted to the people who terrorized the planet because, well, it makes sense. It's all about preserving history, but some just couldn't have been documented at this point. General Cryptor from Season 3? Sure. Cyrus Bohr could have easily signed off on providing information. After all, he accidentally created him. General Kodzu from Season 2? Bet Dareth gave his own testimonies to make himself look good and how he took control of this warrior to boost his ego, but I digress. Dareth was best boy. Pythor? Well, he was in prison for a while, so no doubt Ninjago City had access to some intel on him. Chen from Season 4? Well, he did have a public noodle shop, but I'll get to that later. But then we have Moro and Samukai. Yeah, this is when things start falling apart. One, the ninja did not know of this exhibit. The only people aware of who Moro is, well, them and Wu. Considering this is the first time they heard of this place, how did Borat get the information he needed to make a wax figure of this guy? And Samukai is just as much of an unknown, spending most of his time in the underworld. Unless a Skullkin in the prison was willing to fess up about Samukai's details before he got vaporized in Season 0, there's no way Borat could make him. I think they should tip off the ninja that maybe Borat's a bit suspicious, like, I don't know, maybe he can control time or something.
But let's get back on track.
Elsewhere in the room, Cole finds a painting and a weapon on display, both relating to Sensei Yang. Cole was able to take the weapon and alert the ninja, but nobody notices him. Furthermore, the painting starts to alert Cole to close the circle.
Close the circle.
Whatever that means. Later on, the ninja split up to honor their lost loved ones, except for Jay, who is fortunate enough to still have his family. Lucky dude. All the while, none seem to remember that Cole even exists, to the point that they even forgot the sudden extra vehicle parked at the museum. That was dumb. Cole takes his vehicle off to find Sensei Yang, while Cole's dad wonders where Cole is, only for that to be shrugged aside and for him to lose relevance afterwards. For Special trying to focus on the idea of family and not being alone, ironic that Cole's actual family gets the short end of the stick here while they could have done so much more. So Cole makes it to the abandoned island from Skylanders to confront Sensei Yang, who tricks him to breaking a mystical pot. This puts Yang's plan into motion, waking up the wax replicas in the museum, giving them the souls of the dead villains. Well, those were on display anyway. Aw, come on, guys, I want to see the Great Devourer wreck stuff up again, but guess we're stuck with these guys. But hey, I like all of these villains. But hey, I like most of these villains, although I don't recall them being so incompetent.
I'm all right. Still all right.
What is going on here?
But what about that Pythor statue? That's not coming to life. Still alive and kicking after all.
I mean, it would just be stupid for Pythor to just show up at the museum for no reason.
Nice.
Right.
Well, Yang must feel lucky Pythor showed up, or else all the ninja and Wu wouldn't be taken care of. But that's going ahead. Yang tells the villains that he brought them back from the departed realm, making it the third Ninjago afterlife, and that if they kill a ninja of their choosing, they'll take their place in the land of the living. Wait a minute, so is this Special implying that robots have, like, souls? Because Cryptor was in this departed realm. That makes no sense. Especially since Season 3 really wants to stress what makes Zane human compared to the Ninjoid army. This kinda throws that whole approach out of the window. Who else is there? Is our boy Mindroid floating around in some twisted purgatory somewhere? This is raising too many questions. So the villains decide who to gun for. On surface level, it makes enough sense. Chen goes after Kai and Nia due to the crap they put him through in Season 4. Kozu goes after Dareth for controlling him in Season 2.
Probably not what Yang had in mind, but you can't argue with results, I guess.
Cryptor goes after Zane because they're robots on equal footing. Pythor goes after Lloyd with the beef they had ever since they first met. Moro chooses to go after Wu due to wanting to face his old master, and Samukai takes Jay by default.
But it falls apart once we think about things.
Most of these villains don't know where these ninja are. The only one who gets free pass here is Pythor and Moro, who at least have been to the places the ninja are before, and Kozu was just lucky to find Dareth literally outside. Cryptor maybe gets a free pass due to sharing similar memory banks with Zane. Chen has no friggin' idea where the blacksmith shop is, making it impossible to find Kai and Nia. If anything, he would be going after Wu, due to him once being in the monastery with young Wu and Garmadon. But do you know who knows where the blacksmith shop is? Samukai! Practically the very first action sequence in the entire franchise was Samukai's skeleton army driving up and stealing Nia away.
It's basically the inciting event which caused the entire Ninjago brand to even start.
Yet he's going after Jay, but it's not like he knows where Jay's parents are. The three are currently in their junkyard home, and it's not like there's a neon sign that says, Jay's here. Oh yeah, this special was about Cole, right? How's he doing? So Cole is Yang's prisoner as Yang explains that he made the ninja forget about Cole and how this is all his fault. not much attention is given to Cole's reaction to that. That's gonna bite the special in the butt later. He tries to talk his way out of his cuffs, but his cursed students won't listen.
So, I should probably explain Yang and the students' backstory.
So the Cole weapon used is known as the Yin Blade. Yang used it many years ago to uncover the secret behind eternal life. However, when he tried it on himself, his temple and everyone in it became cursed to be ghosts forever. Now that Cole brought the Yin to the Yang, get it? He can accomplish one last experiment with it, while all the other villains are glorified distractions for the other ninja. So the villains are a means to keep the ninja away from the actual plot. You know what this means, kids? The biggest gimmick of this special is basically filler. And filler it sure is. Each of the villains get into a fight with the ninja, but it really contributes to nothing. There's some scuffles, banter, and very weak attempts at character development. But none of it contributes anything worthwhile and only just highlights the abysmally weak animation for this special. Ninjago isn't Pixar or anything, but the action sequences in the show had weight, it had impact. Here it's incredibly floaty and barely any of the attacks feel like they should even hurt. This only makes the villain go down even more like punks. Cryptor dies by tripping.
An incredibly high-tech, robotic ninja equal of power and intelligence to Zane dies by tripping.
Even after he had this whole line about how he's equal to Zane.
I know how you hit, I know how you will kick, and I know you never give up.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you, since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
Also, yeah, Ronan was in this special. He's one of my favorite supporting characters. He's charming, has an amazing voice, and has a friggin' airship he can call by whistling. Think you can do that, Yondu? But here, there was no reason to include him. At the beginning, he shows up just to say he can go scrap hunting, then shows up out of nowhere in his mech to stop Samukai. That's it. I mean, if you want to be honest, guys, this is how the scene should go. Hey guys, buy my toy. Bye! The only villain who's of any worth is Moro. He goes for a woo, and while the first few scenes he pointlessly tries to act evil in front of him for, I don't know, laughs, he actually contributes something when he drops the act. At the end of Season 5, Moro dies with a bittersweet reconciliation with Wu. In the end, he dies a hero, so Day of the Departed actually continues that. He reveals Yang's plan to the ninja. It's a once again, bittersweet epilogue to his character. He could have struck down anyone and get his life back, reclaim his dream of being the Green Ninja if he wanted to, but no. He decided to use the small time he has left in the land of the living to help those in need. It's actually very nice. And then he goes back to being a wax figure, leaving his spirit trapped in the departed realm, but he's happy with it. Good on you, Moro.
This special has some very good ideas. It's just sad that this is the only one it does well.
Back to Cole, a lot of the time he's just fighting his way through the temple. There's no real emotional breakthroughs or revelations to further push the idea of him feeling alone, just fighting, fighting, fighting. And sometimes it's even fighting we don't even see. And yet, there's more you could have done here. In the first scene, Cole starts to fade away. He can't get a grip on anything, and the deal is that he needs to concentrate in order to even touch anything in the physical world. And now that he's been a ghost for a while, even that's failing him. We need more scenes of that. It adds far more tension and suspense if we question if even Cole will survive this. Yet now, he's made it to the top to have one last epic fight with Yang, and he fails. Yang has opened up a rift, which if passed through, can make him human again. And now Cole feels alone as he suddenly starts to fade away again. What? Now?
Why all of a sudden is he feeling bad now?
Cole is all the more aware that Yang's why the ninja forgot about him. As long as he beats the snot out of him, their memories would assumingly be reverted. Yet now this got to his head. Because? If you're doing a story about emotional trauma, you need to have more progression towards the eventual low point. A process from denial to begrudging acceptance, almost like the stages of grief. Yet the problem is that so much of the special is devoted to Cole just fighting a faceless army. It gave himself no time for Cole to break down. So it goes from this...
Okay, I'll just call you Chuck.
...to this, at the drop of a hat.
Go on, alone.
And all of a sudden, it's not resolved from Cole's own belief or development, but rather than a ninja showing up on a Destiny's bounty in time. Cole didn't develop because of his own strengths, not from remembering his past, his contributions, his family, but rather he reached his resolve by pure coincidence. Developing because of sheer circumstance doesn't make you a stronger character. It only makes you someone reliant on pure luck to even get past things in life. That's not a good thing to teach kids. And Cole is a strong character. The episode where he confronts his dad was a unique and great episode about the importance of familial bond and finding yourself. It's thanks to Cole himself that he was able to find his true potential to save his father. That's a great character moment. Day of the Departed doesn't at all utilize what that episode embodies, and that's the biggest shame of them all, when this is the only time Cole will have an event devoted to him. His face is on all the boxes of the toys, but it isn't even worth it at this point. Right, so, where were we? Oh yeah. So Cole, thanks to the power of glorified luck, now has the power to punch Yang in the schnauzer. With the rift closing and Cole encouraging the students to free themselves using it, Yang explains his motivation at long last. He wanted to live forever, so he could be remembered. He was scared that if he died, he would leave no trace in the world.
No, that's dumb. And do you know why it's dumb?
His goal was already completed, and Cole pointed that out.
You created our jitsu!
He has an exhibit in a museum. People go to his temple like it's a freaking tourist attraction. His martial arts saved the world numerous times thanks to the ninja. His curse is literal legend. I understand if it's one thing for a villain to realize their goals were already fulfilled, but the thing is that he was actively going against his wishes earlier. In Season 5, he tried to stop the ninja from getting the Scroll of Air Jutsu. Why try to prevent people from getting the one thing people would remember you by? It's so counterproductive. This special is desperately trying to create some sort of parallel between the hero and the villain, but the way they did it is by suddenly dumbing both of them down. That's not fun. I pointed out in my Sonic Lost World review, if characters don't act like characters and will just flip-flop between states to fit a story's needs, then it no longer becomes entertaining or believable. And with that, Yang sends Cole into the rift to make him human again, and everyone lives happily ever after.
So, that was Ninjago Day of the Departed. How was it? Honestly, really bad. But this does leave the question.
I'm a massive Ninjago fan, so why, oh why, did I make a video bashing one of its worst products? Well, as I said before, it puts things into perspective as to how special Ninjago as a whole is. Think about it. Day of the Departed is a rushed out, lazily animated mess with many gaps of logic made for the sole purpose of selling toys. It cares little for the characters in their development, desperately seeking some form of conflict to create an action scene to show off the latest products. That is the sort of quality you would expect from what cynics would see in a toy show like this. They see it as nothing more than advertising a product. Those shows that live little impact on the viewer with limited staying power once the kid grows out of the toy they're trying to get off the shelves. And Day of the Departed is like some twisted, alternate universe look as to what would happen if Ninjago had that quality. But Ninjago is more than that. It's far more than that. There's a reason that's gone on this long. That even after this, or even the movie, the brand never lost any goodwill as we move into the 11th season and beyond. Because Ninjago is a show with genuine care, emotion, and love put into it, and it can be something we take for granted sometimes. We grew to love these characters, their relatable struggles, and wanted to see the world they live in protected. Despite having the look of plastic, they're just as human as anyone watching the show. The stakes were real, the dialogue felt real, the investment is real. Not just on our side, but on the side of those creating the show. The actors, the composers, the band, the writers, the creator, these aren't just people doing things because it's their job and then they have to move on to another project. They love the show and are just as much fans as we are. Ninjago has become their baby. The Fold, the band who makes the vocal songs for this series, has created amazing music for the show. Heck, Day Departed has some of their best work. They love engaging with the fans as well. Brent Miller, the voice of Zane, put so much time aside to interact and make videos for the fans, getting us a behind-the-scenes taste that we don't see in many animated shows, period. He didn't have to do it, but he did, because the show has become that important to him and us. Even the creator, Tommy Andreasen, he makes fanfics for this show. Does he get paid for that? Is LEGO backing it? No, he just wanted to write it, because he loves the show so much. I recommend reading Way of the Departed, his sort of continuation of the Day of the Departed storyline, using ideas unused in the show with a more adult edge. Ninjago has more than become a single product. It's a sensation LEGO hasn't seen since Bionicle, because the people behind it wanted to do one thing: tell a great story. This is the same thing that separates an advertisement like Transformers Robots in Disguise with a masterpiece like Transformers Prime. Ninjago is like that, and Day of the Departed allowed us to understand and appreciate that once again. Or at least for me. That probably wasn't the intent, but it's that sort of silver lining I look for when it comes to even the worst of things. Why did it end up this way? Who knows? I can't blame the creative team for this, as they've been doing the best with what they've been given. I just think they've been given too little time due to other seasons and shows being made at the same time. If it was a season, no doubt it would be executed better, but maybe they had no choice but to make it a special and thus had to strip a lot out. It's a mystery, but it's something we don't need to know in the end. What matters is that while Day of the Departed failed a lot at what it tried to do, it did give the message it wanted to preach. To remember what was, and to continue to spend time with what we have left. And boy, we sure do have a lot left. Keep at it, guys. You're still doing great.
So, that about wraps it up. So, you know what happens next. Time for me to get up the old gauntlet and figure out what we're reviewing next. Let's see what we got.